2, maybe 3 times. In the first wash, the seams begin to give way. The fabric loses its shape. The color fades. That piece that felt like a steal now rests at the back of your closet, forgotten, before ending up in a landfill. Do you think you only lost $5? The truth is that this habit is draining your bank account, destroying your ability to focus, and generating a silent anxiety that you can't even trace back to its source. We have been taught that saving money means paying less on the price tag. But ancient wisdom from Japan, combined with modern neuroscience, proves exactly the opposite. Buying cheap is one of the fastest ways to stay financially stagnant and mentally exhausted. In this video, we are going to decode the psychology behind fast fashion and how Japan's feudal master craftsmen discovered centuries ago the secret to building wealth, elegance, and peace of mind through what we wear. To understand why we fall into this trap repeatedly, we need to look inside our own brain. The fast fashion industry does not sell clothes. It sells a psychological illusion called the price anchoring effect, combined with the dopamine reward cycle. When you see a beautiful, cheap piece of clothing, your prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for logical and long-term decisions, is temporarily silenced by your limbic system, the emotional center. Western psychology calls this the availability and affect heuristic. The low price removes the pain barrier of financial loss. Your brain processes the event not as I am spending money, but as I am getting a reward almost for free. The problem is that this dopamine disappears the exact moment the payment is approved. What remains is what psychologists call post-purchase cognitive dissonance. You start accumulating low-quality clothes that don't give you real pride. And to compensate for the void left by that evaporated dopamine, you buy another cheap piece the following week. It is an endless cycle. You spend hundreds of dollars a year on 10 or 15 disposable pieces that last months, instead of investing that same money in 2 or 3 exceptional pieces that would last a whole decade. You are, quite literally, paying a high price to look and feel mediocre. This is where Japanese wisdom comes in to break this destructive pattern. In Japan, there is a profound term, deeply rooted in Buddhist and Shinto philosophy, Mottainai. Mottainai can be loosely translated as don't waste or what a pity to waste something. But its real meaning goes far beyond material ecology. It is a deep feeling of respect toward the resources and objects that surround us. It means recognizing the intrinsic value of an object, the effort of the craftsman who created it, and the energy of nature that provided the raw material. When you buy a piece of clothing knowing it will not last, you are committing an act of disrespect toward your own money and the world. You are practicing the opposite of Mottainai. The practice of Mottainai in modern life is simple, but it requires courage. It is called the cost per wear test. Before buying any piece of clothing, you shouldn't just look at the price on the tag. You must calculate its real value based on the longevity of the piece. A $100 jacket that you wear 100 times over 5 years costs only $1 per wear. A $20 jacket that warps on its second wash and you only wear twice costs $10 per wear. Which one is the true saving? Western psychology validates this shift in mindset through the concept of delayed gratification. The famous Stanford University marshmallow. The experiment proved that individuals who can resist the temptation of an immediate reward in favor of a much larger benefit in the future develop greater financial stability, emotional resilience, and a lower propensity for chronic stress. When you say no to cheap and fast fashion, you are training your brain for success in all other areas of your life. Another reason why we buy cheap clothes is our neurotic pursuit of constant novelty. We have been conditioned to think we need to look flawless, untouched, and always wearing the latest trend of the season. Japan responds to this anxiety with the concept of Wabi-Sabi. Wabi-Sabi is the appreciation of beauty that is imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. In Japanese aesthetics, an object does not lose value as it ages. It gains a soul. Applied to our wardrobe, Wabi-Sabi teaches us to love clothes made of natural materials, like heavy cotton, linen, wool, and genuine leather. These materials do not deteriorate in the ugly, artificial way that polyester or cheap nylon do. On the contrary, they develop a patina, an identity. They mold to your body as the years pass. They tell your story. The practice here is transitioning to what experts call a capsule wardrobe based on texture and structure. Instead of focusing on loud prints that go out of style in 3 months, the focus shifts to fiber quality and structural precision. You choose pieces that age with dignity. In Western neurobiology, this preference for the durable activates the phenomenon of enclothed cognition. Psychological studies prove that the clothes we wear do not just affect how others see us, but directly alter our own psychological processes and cognitive performance. When you wear a cheap, poor, sewn, and purely synthetic piece, your brain registers an underlying perception of disposability and low self-esteem. When you wear a substantial piece with real weight, structure, and flawless finishing, you activate a mental state of focus, authority, and internal security. You literally think and act more strategically because of the quality of the armor you chose to wear. But what happens when a high-quality piece of clothing eventually suffers damage? Modern mentality dictates that we should throw it away and buy a new one. In ancient Japan, however, damage was seen as the beginning of a new chapter of beauty. This brings us to the twin practices of Boro, and Kintsugi, Boro was born among the peasants of Japan during the Edo period. Since fabric was scarce and precious, clothes were patched from generation to generation using scraps of indigo-dyed cloth. Over time, these garments became true pieces of abstract art, heavy with family history. Kintsugi, on the other hand, is the art of repairing broken pottery with lacquer dusted with pure gold, highlighting the scars instead of hiding them. The practical transition you must make today is adopting a culture of predictive maintenance and tailoring. Find a good local cobbler and a tailor. If a button falls off an excellent shirt, sew it back on. If the sole of a leather shoe wears out after 3 years of use, change the sole, not the shoe. When you take care of your pieces, you break the throwaway mindset. In Western analytical psychology, this shift reflects the healing of shiny object syndrome, our neurological obsession with what is new and untouched. Psychologists point out that individuals who develop the habit of caring for, repairing, and maintaining their belongings demonstrate significantly higher levels of self-efficacy and emotional stability. Taking care of your clothes teaches your subconscious mind to value what is already present in your life, eradicating the anxiety of chronic scarcity and building a solid foundation for true wealth. The next time you are tempted by a ridiculously low price in an online store or a mall, remember, you are not saving money. You are outsourcing the real cost to your future financial self, to your self-esteem, and to the planet. Cheap clothes are made to be discarded, and they train your mind to accept a life based on disposability, volatility, and superficiality. The sages of ancient Japan knew that the way we treat our daily armor reflects exactly how we treat our own minds. Choose density over lightness. Choose history over novelty. Choose substance over volatile appearance. I want to propose a challenge to you starting today. The 30-day fast fashion fast. For the next 30 days, do not buy a single piece of cheap clothing on impulse. If you truly need something, wait, triple your budget, and buy a single piece that is flawless in terms of material and craftsmanship. Feel the weight of the fabric. Look at the alignment of the seams. Experience the shift in your posture, and see how your brain responds to this new standard of material dignity. Invest in yourself deeply. After all, true wisdom is not about accumulating the most for the lowest price, but about extracting the maximum value and eternal meaning from what is essential. If this content made sense for your journey of personal and financial development, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave. Your comment below